So we just have Jim, Eric, and I, and who am I leaving out? I guess that's it. So no voting, but we can, any public participation, I guess we can't really do that anyway.
Well,
or could we? I mean, are we doing,
you just can't vote on anything pretty much.
Right,
You can have
okay.
discussions about things. And I do see Diane CC has her hand up over in the attendees for public, so
right,
I can bring her over to speak if you'd like.
yeah, let's do that.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm Diane CC, Olmsted Place in East Norwalk. I'm actually trying to kind of bop back and forth between you folks and the Planning and Zoning Commission, so I may come in and out. But I wanted to just say during public participation, my true interest in tonight's agenda, and I would certainly follow up with minutes and then watch the YouTube video, assuming it gets posted. An item in the item 5 in new business, A, is the new business for the demolition delay on 11 Marvin Street in East Norwalk. And so I was hoping to be able to tune back in for that, to hear the discussion on that and what the process is for how that works. I actually filed the demolition delay request with Mr. Ireland, but I've never quite understood the process of what happens when someone does that. And I believe it has a 120-day delay, but I don't know who's looking at it during that time and what decisions get made. And then the other item that I was interested in is item number 6 under old business, because for a while I have wanted to ask a question instead of trying to read through oodles of statutes to determine exactly how someone would go about requesting a review for a potential historical district. And in this case, I'll put on my East Norwalk Neighborhood Association hat and say, if we wanted to have East Norwalk proper, for example, what we call zip code 06855, if we wanted someone in the city to do a review of the potential to have that named a historical district, how does that actually go about happening? And so I believe there's some existing statutes, but I saw it as a discussion item here, so I was hoping to follow that. But again, I have to kind of hop on and off of both of these meetings, and hope to hear on that, or maybe I can follow up with staff afterwards on that. So thank you all very much.
Right. Yeah. So as far as the historical districts, we're just trying to iron that out, or like not iron it out right now. Figure it out. We're trying to get the green back on the official historical record. And yes, East Norwalk will be a good spot, and we're still trying to figure out how to go about that. And I think we're going to be having Michelle, we're going to have some firm do that, maybe get a grant to help us establish the areas that could be under this historical districts around the city.
Yeah. This item, Ms. CC, will probably be really brief. Since the whole commission isn't here tonight, we'll probably bump that full discussion to the next meeting. But just in short, we're trying to establish the Green Historic District, which they did back in the 80s. But and then also we want to hire a consultant to potentially expand other historic districts within the city. So during that whole process, we'll evaluate other areas within the city that could be a historic district.
Great.
So
thanks, Michelle. I hadn't realized that something like that might expire. I assumed the green and the whole area there. I didn't know that it potentially would need to be redesignated. So that's something interesting. But I guess my other question, as you discussed this too, is it simply a city designation, or does it get referred to the state of Connecticut, who must agree or deem that it's a historic district? Or is it just you folks?
So there's different I think currently the state views it as a historic district, but there's state statute that allows a municipality to have more jurisdiction over a district or create districts. So there's a little overlap, but what the city can do and dictate to proposed developments is a little different in different statutes. So they'll the state will review what we propose, but they also have their own kind of set of standards, and then we'll have our own set of standards for perhaps a similar bounds of a district.
Got it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening. I'll try to come back on if I can hop back from P&Z. Thank you.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now we're ready to do item number 3, reports from boards. And first up is Norwalk Historical Society, Diane Jelleret.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We have been busy with quite a few events. We actually did our Snap, Crackle, and Pop music concert that got rained out on a Friday, September 29th, everybody knows. So we had it on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, October 1, and had it in the backyard of the Norwalk Historical Society Museum. And if you haven't been there, you should check it out. It's one of those little oases that people are beginning to figure out, and also have weddings there. So little small weddings. It's just lovely to watch that. And I want to thank Lockwood Matthews Mansion, Patsy, for the Max Tucci event at Mill Hill. It was wonderful. Everybody had a great time. Max he was great. So thank you very much for us co-hosting with you on the 5th. And as a lot of you know, that we had started a virtual series called The First Peoples of Western Connecticut, and Indigenous peoples. And we had the second one on October 12th. And that is about the Siwanoy Nation. They are not currently federally recognized, but they expanded from what we call now Westchester County up through Norwalk. It was a very enlightening lecture and talk, lots of Q&A. And we're looking forward to our third one that we're going to have tomorrow night. We've got like 75 people already signed up for that. And that one is going to actually cover Norwalk, Western Connecticut, including Norwalk in particular. So if you're interested, it's at 7 o'clock. It's online. You go to our website, norwalkhistoricalsociety.org. You can sign up. It's free. So we're very excited about hearing about Norwalk and Indigenous people who were here. So again, we're doing a lot of activities like that. And we're also, this is the Halloween spooky season. And this year we are offering some Halloween movies, Blast from the Past, as we're calling them. One of the movies is Young Frankenstein. Some of you may remember that. And we're going to be doing screenings in the townhouse. So we're going to have large screens, speakers. So that's going to be Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock. And then on Saturday night, in addition, we're going to do the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and have all the interactive props, except for nothing with water and rice that anybody would slip on the floor. So we're offering those type of props. It should be lots of fun. And something different for us to offer the community. So again, if you want to join us on either Friday or Saturday, please do. So again, lots of fun. And the other thing that we're going to be doing, so October is done, Veterans Day, we will be participating in the Bells of Peace national bell ringing that they're doing in DC. So that's going to be on Veterans Day, which is going to be Saturday, November 11th. The city is also having a Veterans Day program at City Hall. So the townhouse has a bell. So we will be ringing it simultaneously at 11 o'clock. So we're participating in that World War I endeavor. And then the last thing, we're going to be having a holiday open house. And we're going to do it at the museum as opposed to Mill Hill this year. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be December 2nd, Sunday afternoon. And we will be doing a collection food drive from one of our local agencies. So that's what we're doing. We're also, Michael Murphy, who is our new curator, has been still going through the collection and adding information to the new database and figuring out what should we keep and what we should look at deaccessioning. And he will be pulling together the team together again from the Historical Commission. And thank you very much for those who have participated in helping us with the collection. So we're looking forward to having all of that taken care of. And he's ready, he's been rearing to go, and he's been diving very heavily into it. But that's all for now. Are there any questions?
Anybody? No hands. Oh, thank you, Diane.
You're welcome.
I see we have Patsy here.
Yeah, I'm here by myself tonight. Both Doug and Susie are on vacation right now, so I'm covering for our team. First of all, I want to thank the Historical Society and the library and Stepping Stones for being such good neighbors and helping us to providing venues so that we can continue our lecture series that Diane mentioned with Tony Tucci doing the lecture a couple of weeks ago. And our last one for this year is on a Sunday afternoon on November 5th, 2 to 4 at the South Norwalk Library. And it is on baseball stories of history with three sort of a panel arrangement rather than just one speaker. And Ron Darling of baseball fame is one of the speakers, local, and he lives here in Norwalk, I think, as most of you know. And Bob Weirs, who lives in Stratford but had lived in Norwalk for quite a few years, was a public relations person for the baseball commissioner's office in New York. And then a Darien resident, Kelly Francis Troop, who is a broadcast person on national baseball. So it's a little different venue, and hopefully we might get some young people invited, deciding to come and participate. So that I'm sorry.
I just wanted to butt in and say that Kelly Troop lives in Norwalk.
Oh, I thought you lived in Darien. That's better. That's better yet. So we have all people. Yeah, we have all people from either having lived here or living here now. Thanks for that correction. Anyway, our fall programs obviously are very limited because of the construction, and we're off-site. So we are working vigorously to be creative and come up for things during the winter and the spring. But most of all, we're right now focusing on the building project. We did on October 14th have our annual gala, and we had it at Shorehaven Country Club. And it was very successful, and I think financially our most successful one. We're still doing the tabulation on it, but a lot of support, which we're really very, very thankful for. And one of the things that we do in our gala is paddle raising, which you probably, most of you know, And the paddle raising is for educational programs, which we're working on trying to stay with the children and keep them interested in writing stories relative to and about the history and kind of things of relative to the mansion. And the second item that we chose this year was to raise funds for restoration of original lighting fixtures for the mansion so that we can have some of them restored and being able to hung when we're done with the actual mechanical work that's currently being done. I would like to suggest and get your input. I would like to do like a 10 or 15-minute presentation next month at your meeting, showing you slides of what's happening inside the building. The floors have been torn up. All of the wiring and plumbing is being installed between the joists in the floors. It's an absolutely fascinating process. And with all of you people being interested in historic things, I think it would be wonderful. We could get you in and show you inside, but it is too dangerous and we can't do that. So if you think that's a good idea, I have started to put a slide presentation together to show you the process and how it's moving forward. So if that works for you, I would be delighted to do that for you at the next meeting.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. What about
wish-
everybody else?
I wish I'd
Yeah.
taken more pictures of the switch tower before we had,
Yeah,
Christine got
exactly.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah,
we have you.
I'm there, 2 or 3 days a week and walking through the building and with a lot of help, but to show you the protection, the care that we're taking to protect the building itself and the process. For instance, all of the stone flooring in the basement, which is bluestone, 3 inches thick bluestone, all has been taken out and it's stored on the property. And that all has to be put back in. And the floors from the second floor, 2 layers of flooring have been taken up and they're stored downstairs and on the first floor. Each board is identified, marked, cataloged, and all those boards have to go back in the same exact location. So it's absolutely I find it absolutely fascinating. So I will work on that for you for next
Terrific.
month. Okay. I don't know if anybody has any questions. We're still on schedule. We got our fingers crossed to be done a little around this time next year. Whether we'll be able to get back into the building, for the holidays is not clear. And it won't be obviously until pretty much the last, but it could take us 2 to 3 months to physically move back in. Because we have rented right now 5,000 square feet for mostly storage. And all of that has to be brought back in and cleaned and organized and put in place. So that's it.
Okay.
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 Thanks, Patsy. What will we do without
So,
you?
I
What would
don't know,
Norwalk do
but
without you?
well, they'll manage. And don't forget that can I put a plug in for charter revision? It's on the ballot. It's a
Okay.
very good thing for Norwalk. And interestingly enough, historically, our charter, which I just thought about last week, was conceived before the beginning of the First World War.
Mm.
And before women had the right to vote. So putting it into perspective historically, it is a bit archaic and it needed to be brought up into our current times, and hopefully we achieved that with the proposed charter. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Patsy.
Okay, next up is reports. I don't see David here tonight. I have been getting a few reports from our building people. I can't remember. I didn't make a note of that. Cemeteries, I haven't walked through lately. Anybody? Eric, you love cemeteries, don't you? Don't give me that look.
I'm not in any big hurry.
Okay. So, I guess David will give us more next month and, our city consultants for the buildings. Okay, so next up is a new business, demolition delay on 11 Marvin Street, and we have our guest speakers tonight that can fill us in on that project.
Hi, can I start? I'm
Yes.
Denise Pomerico with Coastal Luxury Homes. Jason Louis, our project manager, Coastal is also here, and Char Lucas, the property homeowner. I want to say thank you to the committee for your time and allowing us to speak to you tonight. We appreciate it. 11 Marvin Street is Char Lucas, she could explain to that. They love the neighborhood, love the area, wanted to be in this environment and this for some time. The property became available and they're very excited about moving into this area and making this their forever home. The current house is old, and old doesn't necessarily mean historical and restored. There are elements in there that are structural concerns. The current home does not meet any life safety or any current building codes. So we're respectfully asking that you reconsider the delay on the demolition and allow us to proceed with new construction. Char or Jason, do you want to add to anything?
Hey, I'm sorry, Denise, thank you for that. And thank you to everybody that's on this call. This is Michael Lucas. I'm Char's husband.
Hi, Michael.
And Char and I were picking in the background. Unfortunately, I found out about this meeting a little bit late and I'm traveling for work. So I apologize for being on phone and not on camera. But anyway, this has been kind of fun. I've been sitting in on this meeting the whole time. And I got to say that I vote for Young Frankenstein. I think everybody loves Rocky Horror Picture Show, but there is not a better classic movie than Young Frankenstein. So I'm all in on that one. So can't wait to be a part of the neighborhood. We actually love East Norwalk. We have a lot of friends in East Norwalk. And we have, as Denise said, we've been looking around East Norwalk for quite a while. And neither Char nor I grew up in Connecticut. We grew up in Michigan, but we've been in Connecticut for about 10 years. And we have lived in Westport and we're moving to East Norwalk. And we're excited about it. We're members of Shore Haven. I think I'm sorry, I forget your name, but you mentioned earlier about this fantastic fundraiser at Shore Haven. Shore Haven's a very generous club. We do a lot of fundraising activities. Char and I are both active in the management of the club, and we just can't wait to live on the golf course. So we're super excited about it. And when we bought the property from the Coins, who are longstanding members of the country club, who everybody loves the Coins, and Gene Coyne, may he rest in peace, has an epic, there's great golf stories about Gene Coyne and playing from his backyard into the second hole, which is what we're looking forward to doing when we get there. So anyway, long story short, we bought the house, we started looking at it, and you know what? Unfortunately, it is old. It's very old. Char and I, and I'll let Char talk in a minute, so I don't mean to take up all your airtime, Char. We're both historians. We love antiques. We love culture. We love history. And we can't wait to be a part of the community. But unfortunately, because of the structural integrity, a lot of the basement, the foundation, etc., we just can't make it work for what we want to do. We want to have a home to enjoy the neighborhood and be able to have our family over in a safe and efficient way. So our plan is to demolish the existing structure and put up a modest home that makes the most of the community. So I hope that we can look forward to being part of the community, seeing Young Frankenstein together, and doing more fundraising events at Shore Haven. Char, anything else to add to that?
No,
What did I miss?
I think you did a great job. I was actually on the board of the Westport Museum for History and Culture in the past too. So I'm very familiar with meetings such as this and historical society. So Michael, I think you did a great job. You kind of explained everything. Don't want to take up any more of your time. Jason, anything else?
Yeah, so just is there anything that can happen to get the quorum together to get a vote sooner than the next possible meeting, or is that not something that occurs?
I'm not sure about how we could do that, Michelle.
It would really be up to everybody's and their availability of meeting we could do. So the only option would be host like a special meeting. And just having the right notification of a special meeting and everybody being able to come to it. But it's up to you, Dana, and
Right.
the rest of the commission.
Is it
Okay.
Dana, is it possible that we could just reach the other members of the commission and then schedule a special meeting? And with, the meeting only has to be, as long as the vote takes, could be 15, 20 minutes.
Right. We'd have to contact everyone to find out about that. But yeah, it would be a special meeting. It has to be an actual meeting, right?
Right.
So that's what we'll have to do.
How far in
Well-
advance would it have to be posted, Michelle?
Special meeting, you have to be posted 48 hours in advance.
Okay.
Well, an impassioned plea from your new neighbors and people who plan on being very fun and active neighbors. We would greatly appreciate this because we obviously have a timeline and, you know, we would like to be living in East Norwalk now, but every day counts from our perspective. We understand you guys all have lots of other stuff to do, but if there's any way we could help, or if you could do something off cycle, it would be very meaningful to us and we would be greatly appreciative.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
Dana,
Yes.
could I ask,
Yes,
if I
Jim.
might ask another question?
Mhm.
Is what was the reason for putting the delay on this?
You'd have to ask Ms. Cece who put the delay on. She might not be back from other meetings, so I'll have to contact her and find out.
Well,
Yeah,
I can at least mention that what was on the public record was an email to the town of Norwalk or the governing body that makes these decisions, and it just said that sorry about that. I'm out of town for work. That the house is old.
Old.
It wasn't anything other than just, you know, which I think means it's more than 50 years old. That was it. And Jason and Deneen, I think you have the actual email. I don't
Yeah,
want to
we
be
have the email.
I don't want to be misrepresenting anything, but it was not anything specific. It was just, it's old. There's a 120-day moratorium, or we need a hearing because there's a 120-day period or whatever. But that's all it was. Nothing specific.
All right, I have a question. What did your inspector's report show before you made the purchase?
Well, we knew we did not have the house inspected before we made the purchase. Because we had our builder come in, have a look at the foundation, and we knew the foundation was.
And also it's not really like the way the market was. It wasn't, there wouldn't have been a possibility to acquire the property if it was subject to an inspection, because an inspection would have said there's asbestos, there's lead pipes, there's a crumbling foundation. The list was so long that it was just not even, it wouldn't have been a competitive offer. No one would have bought the place subject. The Coins, you know, wouldn't have been able to sell the place if they were trying to sell it as someone to move into that current property. And it also wouldn't be efficient going forward to live in it with heating and cooling and plumbing and everything else, because it was just an old, I mean, there's characteristics of the house that we love, don't get me wrong. And Shar, correct me, like, I love restoring stuff, and what our plan for the designs of the new place is to make something that's timeless and fits in the neighborhood, but it just wasn't possible with that property. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah, are you,
sir,
yeah,
but
are you
I'm trying
asking
to.
about, after inspections for like asbestos or anything like that?
I was just curious how you were able to get a mortgage without an inspection.
Oh, okay.
Because as far as I know, lenders aren't gonna,
Well, I mean, for whether we're smart or dumb, history will be the judge. But we had sold our house in Westport. We were committed to a place in East Norwalk, and we paid cash for the place, so we didn't get a
Right.
mortgage.
okay.
We just said
Well-
we want to be there. We're going to buy it, and we're going to figure it out, and we can't wait to live here. So
Okay, sure, I was just curious about what an inspection would have shown, but apparently your builder, was on top of stuff, so, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, Derek. Any other questions?
When would we be able to speak about when, the special meeting could be scheduled? Will you reach out to us, or how soon, how quickly do those usually happen?
Perhaps a week or two?
Yeah, Dana and I can coordinate and see what we could do.
Okay,
And we'll
great.
reach back out to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you could give us a couple of 3 options as to possible meeting times so that we're not chasing our tails trying to put something together.
Right.
We either me or Deneen, and I'm sure Char or Michael at any point, anytime during any day, we'll make it happen.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
yes, absolutely, and thank you to everyone for your. I
Yes,
mean,
thank
I know
you
this
for your
is
time.
your time. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you again.
Okay. So next up, I don't know if we can really vote on this. Number 5B, Filbert Road. The people who put up antennas for cell phones have to go through a lot of loopholes. I don't know if anyone else looked at the, I didn't go to the spot, but I looked around the area. By Google, I did a check, and it looks like mostly houses built in the 50s and up. And it seems like if you're going to have a water tower, you might as well have cell phone antennas on it because it's already up. A huge colossal thing there anyway, rather than building another tower. That's my opinion, but Jim or Eric have any opinions on that's what that is about, Filbert Road?
No, I have no opinion to share.
Okay.
It seems very commonplace now to have antenna all over anything that sticks up more than 15 feet, it seems. But,
Geez, I'm
so-
glad I'm not tall.
Yeah.
yeah, so and I assume the water tank is pretty high up, so
Yeah.
I don't think I have any qualms about it. It's the nature of the time we live in, I guess.
Right. It's already kind of a colossus in that neighborhood anyway.
Well, it's not something we can decide tonight anyway.
Right, yeah. So that's that.
So can we just go through just
Yeah.
a second? And forgive me because I'm the new guy on the block here. So on the demolition decisions, it means that all I would if I were to ask for a delay on a demolition, all I would have to do is just send an email in and you'd stop the demolition.
You would send it to the building department, Bill Ireland or Leo, somebody in the building department.
Does
Invoking
the
this.
building department go through and say yes or no? You can
No,
demolish the building?
It's up to us. unless it's rendered uninhabitable, that would be,
But I mean, what I guess
Yeah.
my question is that we have the final say whether it gets torn down or not.
yes.
Okay.
Well, is ours the final say? I mean, really, I mean, we have input.
Yeah, we have input and whether we have something, an alternative, or we just let the clock run down.
What do you mean, let the clock run down?
Well,
Because it has to be within a certain period of time?
yeah, I think we're kind of, we're kind of hoping to get builders not to just pounce on Norwalk and take everything for the land, so to speak. It's just to make us not as, we're trying to keep the spirit of Norwalk is what the flavor of Norwalk was, we're trying to, no, my brain
But
stopped
in
working.
this case,
Yeah.
it seems like this, from their description, now granted, I take that with a grain of salt because I haven't seen the building at all. But their description is that it sounds like it's pretty much fallen apart. And is there, they purchased it already. It's their house
Yeah.
now. Does it have any significant historical importance at
Probably
all?
doesn't, I haven't done none of us has done a title search on this. It's a nice looking house. I wouldn't say it's Tobacco Road material, but not to put down Tobacco Road, but yeah,
I mean, I get you.
we're the opposite side of the aisle from the builders, so
Yeah. No, and
Yeah.
then is there, I mean, is there some criteria that we have to follow that it says, I gotta do it, I'm gonna check this, I'm gonna do a search on the property, I'm gonna find out if it was owned by some famous, old Norwalk, resident, or, just
Right.
something that would say to me, oh, yeah, that's of some historical value, as opposed to, like, for example, how old is this house? Do we know?
I
Well,
believe
according to the minutes, it's 1875.
yeah, 1870. I was going to say 1870, but I couldn't remember.
Okay. All right.
But whether or not we have Todd go in there, take photos, measurements, etc., whether we pay for a title search, that sort of thing, like we do for plaque programs, plaque buildings. Just
And
to let you know.
I'm taking it for granted that this house is not on the historic register.
I don't think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think it's on the Norwalk one, at least. I was
Yeah.
First I was worried about that one in the corner, which I would lay in front of the bulldozers for, the Marvin house.
Uh-huh.
But it's a step up from a vernacular house. I know it has a bay or oriel window on it, as I remember.
But if
Okay.
what they're saying is accurate, it seems like the place is ready to fall down around their ears
Yeah.
with structural problems and asbestos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that it should be torn down. I agree.
I agree. It's one of the reasons I asked about an inspector's report. Knowing that especially if the inspector is going to be filing on behalf of the mortgage lender, then they're going to put down every ding and splinter that they find. So,
Yeah.
But they've avoided that by paying cash for the property.
Yeah.
It seems to me that they went in knowing that this was going to be a tear down.
Yeah, I'm sure. I
Probably.
mean, if they walk through it and they see the foundation crumbling,
Yeah.
and it's full of asbestos, which you're going to have to get rid of, and that's expensive to do. Everything they said was it didn't look like a candidate for just a renovation.
Yeah.
And make it look nice. I don't know. I'll drive by and take a look.
Yeah, I took a picture, from the exterior, it doesn't look like something that's gonna fall down tomorrow. But those homes do need,
Yeah,
most homes do need is care, so without seeing the
Okay.
inside. We'll have to see what Todd thinks also, just
so
as
what
our,
would we have to do? I mean, it seems like three of us can't make, obviously we can't vote on this, but it seems like none of the three of us feel very strongly one way or the other whether the thing should stay up or be torn down.
right. I mean, naturally, I like the houses to stay up.
Yeah.
But again, I'd have to talk with Miss Cece to see whether she's willing to withdraw the demo delay, or whether we are allowed to override. But so Todd is here now. Whether we are allowed to override someone else's demolition delay. Todd's in some really big building. Can you hear
Hello,
us?
Todd.
Hi,
Todd, we were just talking about
I'm
11
sorry
Marvin
I missed
Street.
that. I just had another meeting.
Yep. You can catch the film at 11. Well, maybe not tonight, but
Now it's frozen.
yeah, so
Have you looked at 11 Marvin?
Mr. Bryant,
No, I have not. I can look at it now, though.
yeah. It's a, I guess I'd call it 18th century, sort of a quasi-Victorian farmhouse vernacular. Might have had more ornamentation at some other point of its life, but Diane CC invoked the demo delay, I believe, in August 8th. So we're 9 or 10 weeks out on that. And 120 days is, I forget how many weeks.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everything is slow tonight, including me.
Well, I'm looking at the photograph on Zillow.
I'm just going to Google Earth.
It's kind of hard to see on Google Earth. I went over and looked in person.
Oh, there's Zillow. Zillow will be better.
Zillow's a better bet, I bet.
Yeah, I've got a decent picture of it.
Oh, yeah, right. I remember this now. The guy actually came to my house, knocked on the door, and said, "What do you mean demo delay?" Or words to that effect.
Yeah, came to my house as well.
Yeah, I mean, they paid what, $1.1 million for it?
Yeah.
Cash. You didn't hear that part, the cash part.
Well, which means that they're gonna have to be getting what? The better part of $2 million for whatever they build.
Well, they sold a house in Westport apparently. Depending on what they got for it, they may or may not need a construction loan.
Well, I mean, it's not, the house is not listed. So we don't have anything to fall back. It's obviously in not great shape. So it's going to be tough to defend. I mean, it's worthwhile to engage with these guys, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to get us anywhere because
Right.
have in their
Well, what
minds.
they
that
said was that what they were going to build would be in conformance with the rest of the neighborhood.
They did
Well-
show me the plans. I don't know if Todd got the plans too, but it's kind of, it's kind of a, I guess I'd call it a farmhouse for the 21st century.
Generic.
Yeah,
mine's
it's
bigger
not,
than your house.
it doesn't look horrible, or that I should, remember we're being recorded here. Yeah,
Could we,
but
I mean, we might be able to get them, y'all might be able to get them to tweak the design. And I don't know what's inside, but maybe there's some interior details that are worth saving.
Well, I'm looking at the overview on Zillow, and it says the house has great bones, and the original floors have been recently refinished. The home has been lovingly cared for and appreciated by the same family for half a century.
How
I-
old is the house?
1875.
Oh, that's right. You said that, 1875. And, but I mean, you know, you're looking at a Zillow ad, they're trying to sell a house. They're not gonna
Yeah,
say it's
absolutely.
falling apart.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, of course, but
Does it have
I mean-
pictures?
yeah, there is a picture on Zillow, which is
it's
better than my
picture.
picture.
I don't see any interiors.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, two. Oh, it's it.
So I guess I'm still a little puzzled as to what, you know, I if I put myself in the place of somebody that's just bought a house that was falling apart, or at least my thought was it was falling apart. You know, I'm a little apprehensive about the fact that we can't come up with a real reason why it should not be demolished.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and now that I look at it, I remember it as having peeling paint, but that's just light. This place looks terrific.
Yeah.
I don't get
mean,
it.
This might not be the most up-to-date photo. I think it's kind of green now. But I was there in the pouring rain.
Well, it's sort of green
yeah,
in the shot.
it was a darker
That's
color when I looked at it. But because of the trends now, people are buying property for the land underneath the house.
Well, that's clearly what happened here.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have absolutely no interest in doing anything with this house except replacing it with another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the new one doesn't look anything like that. I mean, it's kind of the classic, the porches and all that is.
But I'm playing the devil's advocate a little bit here, but so what? I mean, if I saw an old house and the paint's all peeling and I walk through it and I said, it's got to get rid of the asbestos, it's got to get rid of this, got to get rid of that. And I bought it, and I mean, if I was going to spend $1 million on it, I'd probably say, can I tear it down? And then if somebody said, yes, you can, then I'd go ahead and buy it. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, hey, I just bought a house. Why can't I tear it down if doesn't have any historical significance? What's to stop me?
Well, only for,
Historical Commission.
I mean, age and design.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
Not
saying.
listed. I don't think it's even in the HRI.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
no,
I'm
I don't
saying. I
think
mean,
so.
there doesn't seem to be anything that's jumping out at us that says, no, you must preserve this.
Save
house."
me, save me.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I
I mean,
just heard it. Oh, that was Eric.
You know, I could see somebody could come to my house that's, tomorrow morning and say they want to buy it and then tear it down. And I don't think anybody'd say, well, that's Jim Freya's house, but that doesn't make it historic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they could do that to my house, and they'd be very sad when they found out how much ledge is underneath it.
Yeah.
yeah, and there's only one picture and it's a street view picture.
Right.
So I go back to my original line of questioning. but questions I have is that, do we have and again, I apologize because I don't have that much experience on this commission, but do we have a process or a procedure that we go through that says, this is what we check this box off, check this box off, check that box off, and say, well, none of these things were, deem it historical or worth saving, so we go ahead and let it get demolished. And then we have a paper trail. It says, this is the reason why we did it. And I'm just thinking that holding the guy up, I don't care whether it was if he's a crook or he's a nice guy or whatever it is, and I don't mean to say that he's not a crook, nothing. But I mean, he could say, hey, look, you're holding me up on this. It's costing me money. I've got builders ready to go. I've got guys standing by with bulldozers ready to go. And I think that leaves us open if we don't have a rationale for why we're making the decision or not making the decision is really what we're doing. Now,
I will say, I have heard this story a number of times that it's a hardship. These people aren't pleading a hardship, but I have had that song and dance from other people that needed to tear down a house right away so they could proceed, or they would freeze out in the, living in a tent, which I'm exaggerating here, but that is going to be their line of their storyline.
Well, we know they can afford a really nice tent.
The delay is designed to engage with the developer and to try and find an alternative to demolition. Now, how often that works, I don't know, but that's what it is designed to do. And it's designed to be in a way a deterrent, and in a way to make them think twice. So you can't just walk away from it easily, despite the fact that they're all going to whine exactly the same way. And the thing is that in that period of time, there are a lot of things these guys can do. Now I'm looking at it's not quite it's 7/10 of an acre. So the zoning provision that says if you preserve a historic house, you can build something behind it. I don't know whether that works here or not, but it should certainly be brought up to them.
Well, it doesn't solve their asbestos problem.
Pardon me?
It doesn't solve their asbestos problem.
Yeah. Well, the asbestos problem is the problem anyway. That has to be dealt with. Yes.
So I guess my question then would be, if we want to engage them and try to dissuade them from demolishing the property, do we have a timetable that we should be in touch with them, or is there a staff person that talks to them and tries to?
Sooner is better, but it should be you guys that engage with them.
Right. Yeah, because we are in charge of preserving Norwalk's character. We are almost always going to say, try to leave the clock ticking for as long as possible. Now, it might not be on the scale of Lockwood Matthews Mansion or even the house on West Avenue that the Y had, but whether we can have Todd go in or someone have a title search to make sure we're not missing something, to have drawings or photos made of the house so it's at least documented. These are things we probably need to do because, again, our job is to protect Norwalk's history, even though it doesn't appear to be historical. In a way, the whole fabric of the architecture of town is, part of Norwalk, part of what makes Norwalk Norwalk.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great example of this house, which has clearly evolved over time. But it's not to be thrown away without some consideration. I mean, George Washington more than likely didn't sleep here, but You know, it doesn't need that. It is what it is on its own.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it
And
looks like
I
a
mean,
charming little house.
documentation should be the last resort because they'll jump on that right away. But even if it is documented, they should pay for it.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that they should show us a copy of the title search that goes back to 1875, whenever it was. And any other documentation that they may have for maybe additions or what the use of the property was or anything like that.
Right, yeah, and then you could have it photographically documented inside and out.
Yeah, because I think, just they seem like people that want to get on with this, and we almost seem like we're obstructionists because we're not doing anything. We're just saying, okay, yeah, we can't take a vote on it tonight because we don't have a quorum. And then we'd have to look, and if we had and I'm wrong, really, if I follow what you're saying, that call for a special meeting is probably not the way to do it because we're just fast tracking things. And we haven't done any pictures, we haven't done any title search, we haven't done any of that stuff. So it's almost like on a whim that we would be making a decision.
When was the demo delay put on?
I think it was August 8th. So we're
Oh.
9 weeks in.
So we have a little bit of time, but not much.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
We have a little more than a month.
she did
So I
mention
would bring,
that,
I would bring them into a meeting, even if you have to have a special meeting.
yeah. I mean, if they're historically minded anyway, they probably wouldn't mind paying for the title search and documentation of the building before they do
That
with
is
it.
such a small expense compared to what they're gonna
Exactly.
into this project that they should,
And we probably
Should
should
be
talk to their builder and find out, like you said, maybe we can maintain some of the front of the house and then they can blow out the
They're,
back of the house.
they're
No,
not
just 'cause
interested in that.
They don't seem
I've-
like they
I've
are
spoken
the
to
least
the-
bit interested in that. And they really seem like the kind of people that are used to getting what they want.
well, they all are. But,
Yeah.
but I mean, let me give you an example. The house that used to be kind of catty corner across from Bower Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You all
Yes, on the
remember.
corner there where they built
Yeah.
2 houses.
Right, that looked a lot older than it really was, and
Yeah.
because I did document that
yeah, you did.
with large format, but I did that on my own just because I, wanted to.
Yeah.
But the developer, on the other hand, gave us a full set of drawings that they paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost the house anyway, but it wasn't, in reality, it wasn't as good as it looked.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's the route that this guy's taking right now.
Except
Right.
skipping
So-
the part that it's just an old falling down house is what he wants us to believe, but we can't believe that without seeing for ourselves or seeing some sort of documentation.
So it
Right.
behooves
So-
us to move on this thing quickly because the clock is running out.
Right.
Running out on us as opposed to them, really. Because we get backed into a situation where we have to make a decision and we don't have the information.
Right. So anyway, we'll get all our ducks in a row, so to speak. And I think we'll run by this title search and documentation somehow, run it past the owners and the builders. And also
Are the
Whether-
builders local? Are they're local builders?
Westport, yeah, Westport. And they talked about simple, modest house, and ironically, the place is called Coastal Luxury Homes. So
Yeah,
although it's not, it doesn't look over the top, but it's nothing like what's there. But
well, yeah. Anyway, if, I think it'd be, I mean, I wrote a paper in grad school, I wrote a paper on demolition delays. And I was talking to this guy out in the Midwest who was a real advocate of them. And his final word to me is that it doesn't work unless you work it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't think we should be sitting here doing nothing because,
Exactly.
No, I agree.
Right.
okay.
Okay.
Well, we can't approve the minutes tonight.
Right. Yeah. And I guess, we probably don't really need to discuss the historical district. We sort of almost covered it tonight about talking about this 11 Marvin. So, we could do item number 7. No, item number 8, couldn't we, Eric?
Yes, we could. I move to adjourn.
Well,
Wait,
Oh, I think Jim's not satisfied.
I hate to be a
Yeah.
party pooper
Okay,
here, but
okay, just check.
have y'all talked about the historic district yet?
no,
No.
nobody's
You know
explained
what?
that
I
to me.
really think it's not in their best interest to do it tonight without a full commission.
Yeah,
I'll buy that.
it's
So
complicated.
could we just figure out, I mean, just, do we have to come back then to 11 Marvin Street by the next meeting?
Before the next meeting, it's gonna be a special meeting for that.
Okay.
And in the
Okay.
meantime, who's going to contact them about getting a title search done and whatever else in the interim?
What I would do is just have them come in and get to talk about that, talk about that in the meeting. So that you can give them alternatives, not rather than just say you have to go do this. Bring them into the meeting, talk about alternatives, and then you're gonna have in the back of your head, you're gonna have on your mind documentation, title search, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than
Right.
just tell them, because you have no authority to make them do it. But you
So
get
I
them
will
into
tell
a
you this,
discussion.
from the way they were talking tonight, that's going to be a very short meeting.
Well, but I mean, can we invite them to the meeting and say it would be helpful if you brought this information with you? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a title search if they bought the place already.
Mhm.
But it doesn't go back far enough. It only goes back like 10 years or something.
Mm.
A
No, actually-
full title search should go back 40 years.
Yeah, but that doesn't get us to 1873.
No, it
so-
doesn't get us to
Right.
1875. But it's more than 10 years.
Yeah. 148 years. Ish. We're lucky it's a 19th century home.
Well, I mean, I would just, we can always suggest to them that it would be helpful if you brought this information in. We don't have to tell them they have to have it, but
Right.
this is something we would help your case. If there's nothing in the title search, clearly we're
Right.
saying there's nothing to save it. Yeah, I don't know.
I agree.
Just suggestions.
I agree. I mean, you're in mitigation mode now, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Mitigation's better than litigation, right?
That's your,
Yeah, well, that's that's where this thing would be heading, I would think. If
Right.
Particularly if they're bent on doing this anyway. They're going to do it come hell or high water. And the next step is going to be we'll be talking to their attorney instead.
Right.
I'm sorry to
Well-
bring all the problems up.
No, you've got to see the clear head here.
Mhm.
The ringmaster. You're the ringmaster.
No, I don't want to be I don't want to be the ringmaster.
Too bad.
Sounds like a Marvel
in,
Comics villain.
right.
I'm
that's
just
the ring.
focusing. I'm just focusing on November 7th right now. So I just got to get across the finish line.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of stealing one of my neighbor's signs. He has 2, but I would just stick it on my lawn too. I wouldn't really. no.
Well, we put it on on the corner of their property, so it
Right.
almost looks like it's on yours anyway. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we do want to somehow present to them doing a title search, possibly documents before the meeting. And again, we'll have to throw out
Maybe
some names of people.
I guess you also mentioned that we could take a look at the builder's plans too. They have builder's plans already?
Yeah, well, that's not really for us to approve. I would say that,
No, but I mean.
yeah,
it's-
yeah, you're right, exactly. I think, did he send me some, or I forgot if I was sent them or they, yeah, again, hand delivered when I was out raking leaves or something in the yard.
Maybe
But
they're
yeah,
still
we'll
out
probably
there.
all want to see, we'll want to see that anyway, so.
Yeah.
Are there any days you have, how often do you have your meetings, Jim?
It's usually, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or something like that,
Okay,
but I can be flexible.
right. I do, we have to
I mean,
throw
we
a
don't
bunch
have
of
to,
things out.
we could do it at different time too. I mean, most of the meetings that I have are like at 7 o'clock.
Okay, I
We
just
could
think
do
it's probably best for
six.
everybody.
Yeah.
The evening is best.
Oh,
for
yeah, yeah.
everyone. Yeah. So does that satisfy you for now, or?
Oh, yeah, that satisfied me now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, now I know that what the next step is gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then, yeah, the evil character would be the ringmeister, not the ringmaster.
Yeah,
Okay,
blame me.
back-
Go back.
Back
He's
to
not one
number-
of these, I don't think they're one of my constituents, so it's fine with me.
Oh, but you're on the common council, don't you speak for everybody? Or just
I
your district?
represent the people in District E.
Okay. Which is now divided into two. Anyway,
Anyway, whatever.
I digress. So we are up to item number 8.
Okay, to reiterate, I move to adjourn.
And second,
I'll second that.
okay,
right.
so we will adjourn at 8:11 according to my UNIVAC computer. And we'll be in touch soon.
Okay,
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much. I'm sorry I
Okay.
drew this out a little bit.
That's okay.
no, it's necessary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, guys, good night.
thank you.
Good night.
Okay.
Thanks for
Bye all.
everything.